Shabbat Shalom. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Obviously, he didn't live in the year 2020. There is plenty around us to fear. World leaders who are divisive, destructive, and dictatorial. Pollution that is slowly killing the earth under our feet. Our private information and data being mined by large companies and governments. Murder hornets. Multiple hurricanes making landfall at the same time. Systemic racism and culture wars. Gun violence. And let's not forget about the pandemic swirling around us, infecting millions and killing hundreds of thousands worldwide. Countries are struggling with healthcare, containment, economic despair, and more. Leaving our homes to encounter all this, it's petrifying. And staying at home to watch the news produces intense anxiety and paranoia. Yes, there are real threats, real things to fear at this moment. And we cannot turn a corner without encountering them. We cannot discount or ignore the scary things in our world. We cannot shrug them off, call them conspiracy theories. We have every right to be terrified. Our lives have become little more than daily risk assessments, deciding what things we are willing or have to do in an effort to avoid the fearful things as much as possible while still trying to function. But FDR had more to say than that one-liner. His point was more complex, more thoughtful, more poignant. What President Roosevelt actually said in his first inaugural speech was as follows. "Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." It's not that FDR was discounting that there are things to be fearful of. Rather, his brilliant point is that fear stifles us, the emotion becoming more harmful to us and more detrimental to society than the thing that we fear. Fear is a hindrance. It is a paralyzing emotion that can overtake us and harm us more than the fearful object that sits before us. And we are unable to keep our fear to ourselves. We become driven by it. Our worry turns into staunch opinion pieces being passed around social media and spreading like wildfires. Our fears cause arguments between family members and close friends. With terror in our eyes, we judge every person we see as safe or unsafe, smart or stupid, caring or selfish. This overriding emotion pits neighbor against neighbor as we leave our plowshares behind us in favor of our pitchforks. We have long accused politicians and news anchors of fear-mongering, but it turns out that lately it is anyone with a mouth or access to the internet. This is what FDR warned against. And it is exactly where we are right now. It's stunning to watch our fear turn into rampant negativity. People are using fear to highlight how nothing will work. We can't open businesses or schools or any kind of activity because everyone is irresponsible and everything about these institutions will be terrible. Fear is being used to drive deeper wedges between political parties, between parents, teachers, and administrators, and between those in government and their constituents. Fear is increasing the sense of us and them that has already hurt so much of our society. We see anti-Semitism, racism, classism, chauvinism, and every other ism on the rise. We are so busy being afraid that we are diving farther into ourselves and farther away from each other. Soon we will be so far down in the pool of fear that we will drown, alone and afraid. I'm tired of fear. I'm tired of feeling suffocated and as if I am wearing a straitjacket. I am tired of reading articles about how possible solutions should just be deemed impossible and not even tried. I'm tired of watching family and friends yell at each other because they cannot comprehend the decisions that the other is making. I'm tired of people using fear as a way to stop anyone from doing anything, or worse yet, for getting them to do something that they want for political gain. We, the human race, we are creative, we are inventive, we are strategic, we are capable. But fear stops all of that in its tracks. Fear ends conversation, clouds all rational thought, stifles progress, and destroys hope. Instead of using our abilities to think differently, to work together, we are too busy fighting through our individual fears. Recently, my son Micah asked me to read him a new Pete the Cat story entitled Sir Pete the Brave. In this imaginative children's tale, Pete the Cat is a brave knight who likes to listen to his friend, Lady Callie, play the harp every evening during dinner. When Callie is captured by a dragon one day, Sir Pete the Brave follows the dragon's tracks in an effort to save Callie. After a series of events, Callie and Pete are discussing who is actually saving whom, and the dragon begins to cry. Turns out, the dragon is sad to have Callie leave since he merely wanted to enjoy Callie's enchanting harp music just like everyone else. When Sir Pete the Brave and Lady Callie realize this, they invite the dragon back to the castle, and everyone enjoys the harp music together. Among the plethora of children's stories that I read regularly, I generally like this one. But I wonder about the word brave. I imagine that Pete was afraid when he realized Callie was gone. I imagine that Pete jumped to action trying to mask his fear for his friend and for his kingdom. I imagine that Pete said he was brave, so he never had to say, not even once during the story, that he was fearful. Bravery is really just that, a rush to judgment and an attempt to suppress our fear for what we deem as more righteous things. Bravery means not thinking about our fear and generally not really thinking at all. When we tell people to be brave, it's often accompanied by the words, just do it. Bravery is forging ahead and ignoring our brain, ignoring our fearful emotions. It's about taking a risk instead of trying to figure out the best solution. Bravery involves action and forgetfulness, not thinking and feeling. Fear doesn't go away when we are brave. We just momentarily bury it. But forgetting and ignoring, that isn't possible right now. So there has to be something better to help us move past our fear. There is. The opposite of fear, it isn't bravery. It is hope. The way to fight fear isn't through bravery. It is through hope. Hope is about optimism, having the ability and the willingness to vision beyond our fear. Hope encourages us to not just think ahead, but to dream about what can be. Hope. Tikva. Can there be a more essential, modern Jewish value than tikva? Rabbi Jonathan Sachs believes that hope is the gift that the Jewish people give to the world. He stated, "Judaism is the voice of hope in the conversation of mankind." Indeed, the structures of Judaism invite light into moments of despair and fight against fear in the most fearful of times. On Hanukkah, the darkest days of the year, we literally build up the light inside our homes and put it as close to the outside as possible so that all can find their way using that brightness. Hope is what sustained the Jewish people through 2,000 years of exile, through hundreds of pogroms, through plagues and blood libels, through expulsions and discrimination. Without tikva, without the idea of something better to come, without creative workaround solutions to impossible problems, we would not be here in this synagogue celebrating Shabbat together. Hope is the faith that with our efforts, we can help make things better, explains Rabbi Michael Marmer. Hope is active and requires not the bravery to hide our fear, but the courage to carefully examine it while allowing ourselves to truly believe that things will get better. I'm done with fear. I understand that there are truly scary, deeply, emotionally, mentally, physically scary things waiting for me every moment of this day. I am tired of paralyzing, paranoia-provoking energy of fear. I would rather use hope to find ways to push forward and progress. Would we have made it to the moon if we let fear consume us? Would we have turned a desert in the Middle East into a thriving, flowering, democratic country if we only focused on fear? Would we have gotten out of bed after JFK was assassinated, after 9/11, after November 2016, if fear was the only emotion we had within our grasp? No. I am done with fear. I am ignoring bravery. I choose tikva, and I hope that you will join me.